Hiya, Barbie.
Hi, Ken.
You wanna go do a podcast?
Sure.
Jump in.
Ladies and gentlemen, ghouls and monsters, frightmares of all ages, and everyone else, welcome to Binging Barbie. I'm your host, John, and with me I have my co-host. Look out, Jay! There's some darkness behind you. Ooh.
No!
Yes. Anyway, this is a podcast about movie tie-ins for toy franchises, and this week we are continuing our deep dive into the Monster High series. This week we'll be talking about the 15th movie and the final animated one, Monster High Electrified. And joining us once again is Monster High expert and creator of the Uncanny Productions, Samariel.
Oh, wow. It's so great to be here.
Yeah, great to have you back.
So fun. Every moment is a surprise.
Yes. Today we're doing the end of Generation 2, for film-wise at least.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is the final, at least so far, animated Monster High movie.
Indeed, yeah. I hadn't thought about it in that context, but you're totally right. That's a little sad, but it was a good one.
Yeah. Yeah, it's we'll get into our thoughts.
Tell us about it, Jay.
Yeah, this was released March 14, 2017, directed by Augusta Zorelidi. Should have practiced that before. Who's an animation director who worked on Angry Birds Toons and Moomin Valley. But she's also the host of the... Yep.
I love Moomin Valley. Go on.
Yeah. Oh, good. Yeah, I haven't seen any of it, but yeah, she was also the host of the Directors in Animation podcast, which I bring up here because she actually did an episode with June Falkstein, who's the supervising director of these Generation 2 Monster High movies, and talked a lot about Monster High and also just animation in general and what it's like to be an animation director. So yeah, I listened to the episode and it was really cool to hear.
It's a great podcast. It was a good episode. I'm glad you sent it to me.
Yeah, it was, and just a lot of the insight into the process behind these two Monster High movies, some of the creative decisions. I was surprised by how much creative control they had over these. I assumed that the change in art style was mainly Mattel's decision, but apparently the people working on the animation side did have quite a bit of input there.
Which is good.
Highly recommend.
You don't want Mattel to make a design that the animators just can't do.
Yep.
Sure.
I think they have every once in a while there will be we'll actually talk about a design here that did not work all that well.
Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah.
But yeah.
I didn't know much about Gen 2. That was the only one that I hadn't really dipped my toe into. And I watched this one without watching Welcome to Monster High.
Oh.
So I was really awash at sea here for a bit. The only thing I really knew was that the fans do not like Gen 2. The fans really hated it. And even today in the Monster High Reddit, people trash talk Gen 2 so hard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I felt that a lot with the first one. They definitely Welcome to Monster High, for me at least, was a bit of a doozy, just because it's a complete change in style and in demographic, and I don't know, it just feels like they sanded the edges off. Here I think they've added some of the edges back, which I appreciated.
Yes. How was the recap at the beginning for you, since you haven't seen the other film?
It gave me just enough that to know what was I did have to pause for a moment and be like, wait, what? Hold on. Wait, we made Monster High? Wait, Dracula's here? Hold on. But like it does give you just enough that if you're just kind of like tuning in, like you're able to it gives you enough that you're able to take the concept and run. It did force me to sort of have to rewrite parts of my brain, given how in the weeds I have personally been with Monster High Gen 1 lore. I was like, wait, what? Oh, hold on. I gotta rethink everything. As well as looking at it and going, they're like, oh, we're gonna go to an Ari concert. And I'm like, who is this? I don't know this person. Why does she have so much screen time? What? Everyone's acting. It felt like an episode of like a body snatcher episode where it's like, oh, what are you talking about? This person's been in our family this whole time, and I'm like, no, he hasn't. But once I got over that and remembered this is a movie for children, and just allowed myself to sort of, take it as it came, there was a lot here that was actually really quite fascinating. I didn't realize that Monica was the villain in this one and the previous movie, which
yeah,
I feel like you could have seen that one coming, kids. But it was still really fun and really interesting. Like it was like, oh, okay. Like once I had to turn off the part of my brain a little bit that knew too much to let the new information in.
Yeah, and I mean, I think a lot of Monster High fans just kind of were too disappointed to take this movie at its own level. I pay for the premium features on Letterboxd so I can see, what are the movies that I have rated higher compared to everyone else. And it gives me the 12 movies out of, I've seen over 2,000 now that I have a score on Letterboxd for. And this one, Monster High Electrified, I gave it a higher score than the average, enough that it showed up in my top 12.
Yeah.
Because the Letterboxd for these, because it's not the normal Letterboxd reviewers who are reviewing Monster High Electrified, it's the Monster High fans who happen to be on Letterboxd.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh yeah, this one. Yep. Yeah, both this one and Welcome to Monster High, which we'll get into all of that.
Yeah. Jay, who wrote this?
Yeah, this is written by Keith Wagner, who he's become kind of, we've been watching a lot of the movies that he's written. So it's cool to see him come back here and kind of, I don't know, it feels like this is the best he's achieved. He was the writer on Boo York, and Great Scarier Reef. So he's returning back and kind of, I think this time getting a chance to do it really well. And then we have music by Daniel James once again. He did the music for Welcome to Monster High.
Nice. And story follows like this. Claudine and the ghouls have an idea to open a beauty salon at the abandoned power station Frankie used to live in. It would be a way to reach out to the normies. And meanwhile, Frankie and Twyla start to notice that Monica and musician Zomboys acting pretty strangely. Twyla finds an underground facility where Monica has built a machine to absorb all the energy from the city's power grid. And she is planning a night of the Zomboys where she will unleash chaos. The one problem is that she can't find a battery powerful enough to store all that electricity. Twyla is captured before she can get any of the information back to Frankie, but Monica realizes that she can use Frankie like a battery, because Frankie got electrocuted one day by lightning. Yeah. So, the day the salon is supposed to open, Monica lets Twyla go, hoping she would lead Frankie down to the facility. And Frankie and Twyla walk into Monica's trap, and Monica uses Frankie to absorb all the electricity in the power grid. She and the Zomboys rise to the floor of the salon and start terrorizing the normies. Frankie is able to turn the excess energy into creatures called Zanaps, and together the ghouls and the Zanaps team up and stop the night of the Zomboys. They bring the power back online, and as punishment, Monica and the zomboys are made to clean up the mess they caused. And the normies come back to the salon the next day thinking that the night of the zomboys was just an elaborate marketing scheme, and nobody got sued due to the public damage.
I mean, to be fair, it was very like kids on Halloween damage. Like, that was one of my favorite reveals, because Monica's been talking up this night of the zomboys for the entire movie, and then she like finally gets to do it. And what is it? It's they're TPing people's houses.
We're egging, we're knocking over mailboxes.
Yeah,
graffiti on the walls, all that.
Yeah, it's goofy, like
it's teenage
Disney mean kid mayhem. Which is a bit of having. So I watched this, and then I went back and watched Welcome to Monster High, which is an absolute step down from I'm going to kidnap the most popular star and turn her into a zombie. Monster High really did a number on her, huh?
I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, this is just my favorite kind of Monster High story, where we have lots of different plot lines that become entangled. We have the Frankie and Twyla going up against Monica, and then the salon, and then this band that, I mean, they're kind of separate from everything else, but they kind of tie back in.
The band, not so much.
Yeah.
There's also a group of Monster High students who are trying to start a band, but none of them can agree on anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. They only have like one interaction with anybody else throughout the entire film. And so they just kind of show up when we need levity, and it kind of takes away from the story we're actually interested in. So, yeah.
I don't know. I had fun with the band.
I enjoyed the band. It was fun. It was goofy. I love Wooly. She's adorable.
Yeah.
Right. Probably would not use the band in this film, but it was enjoyable for something else. I just got distracted from the story.
I wonder if they had bigger plans for the band in like future movies to bring them back.
The band could have played at the salon, but no.
Yeah, there you go. I definitely thought, like, given the like dramatic opening sequence of saving Sylvie, that she was going to have a much bigger part to play in this story. And then it was just like she's also joining the band, and I was like, oh, is that it? Okay.
Yeah. Great. Yeah.
Good for
I guess
her.
we can confirm that Wooly is not Abby.
Yep.
So
that was
cross that off.
Yep. Yeah. I enjoy getting all of these characters together and then moving towards this effective climax where like all of the plot lines are coming together, all of the characters have to team up. The snaps were maybe a little silly, but
I loved them. I thought they were fun. Like, are they very clearly like marketable plushies? Yes.
Yeah.
But they're also really cute and very fun. And the sequence of Frankie like shaking her arms and making 1 million of them was just very entertaining.
Yes.
Oh boy. Just attempt to fly into the stratosphere and you get little babies, I guess.
Yeah.
It's very like Elsa creating life in Frozen.
Yeah,
like,
sure.
The more you think about it, the more ethical connotations this has.
Yeah. Which wouldn't be the first time. Well, I suppose it would be the first time Frankie created life in Gen 2. But she did it 2 times in Gen 1, so.
Yeah.
She's just like her dad.
Yeah, I'm just so happy that the Edge is back. There are moments of actual danger and horror imagery and tropes, and we have zombies and mad scientists and shadows and darkness, and it's like this is what I want from Monster High. Just go all out in the like campy B-movie horror tropes while doing it in like a high school setting for kids.
Yeah. Yes, exactly that. I loved it. There some of the sequences that were more like horror, I would genuinely was like, oh wow, they put this in a kids movie. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I just was having so much fun watching it and seeing it all unfold, and it felt kind of like, I don't know, this was the first time where I was like, oh, this is what watching this was like, oh, this is the potential that I've always wanted to see from Monster High, where
Mm-hmm.
we not only we have these horror elements, we have the high school elements, and we have story and character that are interesting, and they're all coming together, because we've had each of those separately, but to have it all
Yeah.
together, it's like, oh, this feels like they finally figured it out. Oh, and it's the last animated one. Whoops.
Oh well. I
Yeah.
guess. Yep.
It's both poetic and like a little sad. Like, who knows if they would have been able to replicate this, but I kind of wish they had gotten the opportunity to at least try.
I mean, we'll find out with the live action films.
Yeah.
Although I'm not putting my hope up.
Yeah, I wouldn't. But yeah, no. It's I mean it's sort of almost ironic that this movie that is about like, oh, we're gonna make our first foray into this society and hope that they accept us. The movie about that was very much not accepted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's it is
Mm.
this thing with like fandoms where one of the things that annoys me about fandoms in general is sometimes they'll be like, we don't like this movie, and I'm like, no, it's the best movie, you don't understand, this is like the one that gets everything right, but because it's
Yeah.
not within the classic Gen 1 style, it kind of gets dismissed.
Mhm.
Sure. Yeah.
These movies are
Yeah.
really quite interesting. I feel like the world that they set up, I don't, maybe it's just that because it's set in a much more like realistic setting, as much as anything in Monster High can be realistic. But like,
Right.
they have to like, because the whole human and normie relationship stuff with Gen 1 was very wiggly and kind of was
Yeah.
whatever we need it to be for whatever. Half the time I'm like, wait, hold on, are there people or are there not people? Is there like a separate country for monsters or what? Sure, whatever,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna
Yeah.
move on with it. But here it's very much like there are pockets of monsters and they just want to live, and so it felt to me like, I don't want to compare it. Okay, I guess I'm gonna. Like, it felt very sort of like Barbie meets the X-Men, kind of in
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah.
Because
Down to
it's
like the
very
superpowers.
exactly like it's which I really liked in this thing, because one of my like sort of complaints with Monster High has always been like, they're not monsters. They don't do anything monstrous. And so
Yeah.
getting to see them actually like have powers and abilities and like skills that they can utilize that are specific to their type of monster, loved it. Loved that.
Laguna is fast.
Laguna's fast, which was confusing at first because I didn't know she could do that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
it's
no,
fine.
it's
She's barely in this movie.
the world building is so much more effective here. Just on a
Yes,
base
very
level, we
much.
understand what the world is like. They aren't going to scare us, and it's Paris, but what if it was monsters? And then you're like, but what about the humans? I don't know about the humans. Who
Does
cares?
Paris also exist? Is it next
Yeah.
to, above, or underneath? Or
Yeah. And I like some of that uniqueness of like, oh yeah, let's go to Scaris, and it's like Paris, but it's scary. But then there's also they never settled on anything, and it never felt like,
yeah,
yeah,
it was very much a having your cake and eating it too.
yeah. Whereas here, I mean, it does feel X-Men, or like Hotel Transylvania is the one that I compared it to last
Yeah,
episode.
that's absolutely
Um,
valid.
which, yeah, I don't always love the
Right down to
secret
Dracula
hidden.
teaching Draculaura how
Yeah.
to turn into a bat and fly. Yeah, wow. Hold on. Wait, hold on.
Yeah, but I don't always like this kind of, and in the first one I wasn't a huge fan of this sort of secret magic world within
Mhm.
our own, but in this one I feel like they used it a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
We do have that weird thing of like, and the X-Men run into this as well, where it's like they're kind of an allegory for a lot of different
Yeah.
marginalized groups. And
Yeah, that's the part that always gets me a little squicky where I'm like, hold on.
yeah, where Monica is kind of almost the Magneto to
Exactly. The villain who is technically correct, but also does a
yeah.
lot of crime, and therefore we can't agree with him.
Well, it depends on the iteration of Magneto as well, because
True.
sometimes Magneto is, oh, we need to assert ourselves within society, and sometimes Magneto is like, we must kill everyone. You're like, okay, Magneto, whatever.
But
But
you
yeah,
also then get the dichotomy that you have with versus like Rogue and Storm,
yeah,
Storm is like, "There's nothing wrong with us," and it's like, "Cool, you have the ability to make weather. I kill people when I touch them." Like Monica is a zombie. They eat flesh.
yeah,
Like that's the inherent thing of zombies is that's what they do. So she in this world is going to have very different needs than everybody else. So of course she's not wanting to be friends. That's her food source.
yeah. I hadn't considered it that way specifically for Monica, but you even have like, because that's the thing that the X-Men will occasionally touch on is certain of the X-Men are able to blend in with everyone else a lot
Mhm.
easier. And here you definitely have that with like, oh, I'm forgetting his name, the blobby guy.
Gob.
Gob. Yes. Job.
Freaking uh
Yeah.
the glob monster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not gonna be able to walk around a town. Although honestly, I
He
don't think any of these, because Draculaura and Frankie have the different color skin.
Mhm.
But yeah, I don't know. It's I think if we look dig too deep into that, we're gonna find the limitations of it. Similar with the X-Men, where it's like,
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
they're kind of an allegory, but also kind of not, and kind of on a bit of a shaky ground there sometimes.
Absolutely. In a more comparable thing, I suppose, is Halloween Town did this
Mm. Yeah.
almost exactly with its third film, Halloween Town High, where uh listen, I know I know my stuff, man. Where a bunch of like kids from Halloween Town go to school in the normal human world, and it that one ends with like a whole where they're all revealed. And all their classmates are like, "Ew, what? Wait, what? That's oh my gosh, you're all these different monsters." And then they do the whole thing where it's like, "Hey, man, we're also your friends and we've been going to school with you this whole time and it's cool to be different actually, and can't we all just get along?" And I remember watching that movie with some of my friends in college and having them turn to look at me and they just went, "Wow, Halloween Town High solved racism." Where it's like, if you're gonna do that as the metaphor, but also you've got all of this other stuff going on, ooh, you're gonna have a problem.
Yeah, which I think this one gets away with it because it pulls back before it goes the full.
Yeah, where
There isn't
instead
the
of Monica doesn't actually eat people, she just causes some
well,
light vandalism.
and then even there isn't the and suddenly they weren't racist anymore. Like the
Yeah.
townspeople are still
We hadn't quite gotten to that point where like the townspeople realized what was going on.
yeah.
Yeah.
If they had done that, I was worried in that last scene that that is where it was going.
hmm I'm
And
guessing maybe that's what they were setting up for like one of the next movies, question mark.
yeah, and hopefully they would have approached it well. I don't know. They
Fingers
haven't
crossed.
necessarily in the past, but never know. We'll give them the benefit of the doubt since they weren't able to bring their full creative vision for this series of Gen 2 films.
Well, and Gen 3 does continue with the secret magic otherworld where
Okay.
humans and monsters are very different, who have their very like separate spaces. The live action Monster High musical movie opens with Claudine at a skate park and her helmet falls off and everyone sees her ears and they start chasing her through the woods. So like we will definitely get to see, it won't be the Gen 2 idea, but we are definitely going to continue with monsters as a metaphor.
That just sounds like Barbie Mermaid Tale when her hair turns pink and everyone freaks out.
Yes, it's very that, because she does all these cool skate tricks and then they're like, oh, what is that, a dog? And then it's goofy as hell.
Imagine if they did that in Air Bud.
Oh, there's gotta be, because they made so many Air Buddies movies. One of them's got a skateboard. That's got to have happened.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah,
I know a monkey did that, but yeah.
They went to space, I think, at one point.
They went to space. The last one they did was they're superheroes now.
Oh.
Yeah. They did Indiana Jones. They met Santa Paws.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
The Air Buddies have seen some things in their time.
And they were puppies. Forever puppies.
Forever puppies.
I mean, Frankie is just kind of eternally 17 days old. Or 16
But she's not a puppy.
No,
she is not a puppy. She's a battery.
She is not Channing Tatum in Jupiter Ascending.
Oh my gosh. Jupiter Ascending. What a flick.
I need to.
But anyways, Monster High.
Yeah. So I give the story overall a 4.5 out of 5. I was just, this is what I've been waiting for this entire time. Of like the perfect fusion of spooky in high school and campy sensibilities and a little bit silly, but still having some dramatic weight to it and interesting characters that are well balanced, and we get to explore a lot of them. So yeah, I was very impressed.
Yeah. I also gave it a 4.5. I thought this one was really fun and interesting, and the world it sets up is really rad. And even the obvious moments where it had to like pull back because it's a kid movie was still very fun and entertaining. So yeah, I also gave it a 4.5.
I gave it a 3.3. Don't ask me why. I don't remember.
Fair enough.
Well, yeah, onto the characters. Frankie's kind of the central character here, but
kind of.
I mean, it's really an ensemble. But
she's one of the central characters.
Yeah. I put her here because she actually has probably the biggest arc. She has actual characterization and character flaws, which in the last one she has it did actually probably the several last. She doesn't tend to get much character development in these.
Yeah. Which sucks.
Yeah. So it's just nice to see her get like more of a focus. And they do the thing that they often do with Barbie, where she sort of feels this responsibility to everyone around her and wants to be someone that everyone can rely on, and so doesn't quite know how to ask for help, but has to learn sort of how to get help from the people around her when she needs it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really liked it. I once I got over Frankie having a much younger voice actor, because that definitely threw me for a loop when she first started speaking. I was very interested in the sort of character that they set up with her. I always want to see more of her, just because Frankenstein is my specialty subject, and I'm always curious as to what they're gonna do with that sort of groundwork there. And it was really rad seeing her as like trying to be the support to everyone and literally going on the fritz over it.
Yeah. The whole thing with her getting that energy and how it affects her was just, and like you were saying, it's this thing where for most of Gen 1 it felt like the monsters were just kind of normal teenagers who were a little bit odd, but they never felt like monsters, whereas now we have these sort of powers manifesting in Frankie getting electrocuted by this lightning, and it gives her a whole bunch of power, and she's like too much energy, doesn't know what to do with it.
Yeah. Frankie finally got on Adderall, and and now it's everyone's problem. No, but it's great. I loved it. I thought it was really cool. I loved getting to see her interacting with Twyla, which was a very interesting dynamic that I didn't anticipate. Because Twyla has always been one of my favorite characters because I think she's an interesting concept that is never that at least in Gen 1 never got taken to its fullest extent. And so getting to see that here, and seeing that against Frankie, who's sort of the sort of main three, Frankie is kind of the chillest. And so getting to see her interacting with Twyla, of them sort of being this really cool investigative duo who are saving the day, and I'm like, heck yeah, Super Squad, you two go. I love this.
Yeah, you could almost imagine like a buddy, like detective dramedy with the two of them.
Entirely so, and I would absolutely watch that.
Yeah, Frankie would be the bad cop. At least she'd try to be.
Yeah. I don't know if either of them would be the bad cop. I think they're just kind of both.
Yeah, I feel like Frankie would be the good cop because she just wants everyone to be happy.
I feel like the dichotomy would be the clumsy one, which would be Frankie, who has all of the energy but is a little bit clumsy, and then Twyla is more reserved.
Yeah. The Everman.
Yeah. Which, speaking of Twyla...
Twyla's not there. She's in the shadows, bitch. She's watching you. Twyla.
Yeah. She's Twyla, just this great introverted character who's just kind of like, she needs her time to herself.
Yeah.
And people don't always understand that. And as I don't know, I'm not either all that introverted or all that extroverted. I can kind of go either way depending on context. But yeah, as someone who knows a lot of more introverted people, I'm like, oh yeah, I can recognize that sort of, you know, you want to be involved in things, but also you want to have some time to yourself.
Absolutely. Well, and
just a great foil too, because go ahead.
No, I think you were about to say the thing that I was going to say, which was that she makes a great foil for Draculaura, who is like Miss Peppy #1, who's like here to do everything. Like she's the #1 cheerleader. She wants to throw a big party for every reason at every occasion. And Twyla is like, I just need to not be in this room right now. I'm just gonna literally fade into the shadows and disappear.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like, and again, because it's not just Draculaura, it's everyone in this Monster High group is very sort of high energy, more extroverted. So to have Twyla be here, it just grounds those parts of the movie.
Yeah.
And adds a bit more tonal complexity, which I really appreciated that.
Yeah. Gen 3 is when they have canonically made Twyla autistic. And she gets introduced during the Creepover saga in the TV show, where the main sort of ghouls are hosting this big slumber party in the library, and they're like blasting music and they're playing games and doing all this stuff, and then they start thinking that they're being haunted because the radio keeps turning off and disappearing, and eventually they figure out it's Twyla, who just wants some quiet and keeps turning off and stealing their radio. Yeah, which is number one, really rad. I've heard only good things from like autistic folks seeing themselves in Twilight, because she's always like since day one been the very quiet, reserved one, because her whole thing is being a boogie monster who lives in your dreams and is watching from the shadows because that's where she's comfortable. She doesn't like being out in the open. That's just not her thing. And it's not anything wrong with her. Like, that's just the way she is. And so I love her getting to embrace and be celebrated for that. I think that's really cool. I think Twyla's a really awesome character, and I love getting to see her flex.
Yeah. Yeah, this does feel like the first time we're seeing her get to have her due in one of these.
Mm-hmm.
Although I do like some of the, like, I think it's Fright's camera action where she's overseeing the cuteness court over which actor is cuter in the Edward versus Jacob debate that happens in that one.
Incredible.
Yeah, that one's a fun one. But yeah, here she's actually like a character who gets stuff to do.
Yeah, I think this is like my favorite project that I've seen her in, because she's usually just in the background.
Mm-hmm. She's great. I love her.
Yeah. Now we also get a whole lot more characterization here for Claudine.
Yes.
Which I had forgotten that this was her character in Gen 1 as well, because she had an entire movie about basically the same thing of her artistic passion and not being
Yeah.
sure how to pursue that in a healthy way.
And then they dropped that.
Yeah. So yeah, it's nice to see that come back here and for that to be an entire arc for her to find her voice and find the confidence to stand behind her work as she's opening this salon.
Yeah, as well as giving her like a backstory with a tangible reason as to why this is the thing that she wants to pursue. Of being like, yeah, I
Yeah.
grew up in a den where there was no style, no fun, like it was boring and it sucked, and I want to make something cool. Now that I'm out here in the world, and I'm gonna make people see my cool stuff, and I'm like, hell yeah, girl, good for you.
Yeah.
Because none of these characters, I mean, some of them have like very brief backstories, and if you read like their diaries, you can get like some more kind of lore, but none of them have like backstories in Gen 1, really. They're just kind of there, and then they're at Monster High, and that's it.
Yeah.
Which I think it probably comes from that realistic grounding of the Gen 2 situation, just in general.
Yeah. They're building out the lore a lot more intentionally here.
Yes.
Which
again, is great.
Yeah. But it does make it a little sad that they weren't able to continue it, because it feels like they've now set up a solid base to build upon. That it's like, oh, it's just the solid base. There isn't any, like, we have a little bit of the framework there, and what is there is very nice. But it's like, oh, what if they had been able to go a little bit higher, build a little bit more? What would that have looked like?
Yeah. But I think folks were sort of upset about losing, because the Gen 1, there were so many Gen 1 movies, and a lot of them set up like things that can be expounded on. And I think a lot of folks were like, oh, because everyone, this is this sort of ensemble cast. You pick your person, and you're like, oh, I can't wait to get a movie for this person. I can't wait for this guy to get and then it was like, just kidding. We're scrapping everything, and we're starting from scratch. These characters that you thought you knew, you don't anymore. And I can see how that would feel like kind of a betrayal. But it is a shame that, yeah, the Gen 2 didn't really get off the ground.
Yeah. It's this odd thing, because John, as you've mentioned to me before, these kids brands will often do reboots, and it's a way, because kids generally age out of a thing. They get into it at a certain age, and then 5 years later they've aged out of it. So then you do a reboot every 5 years, so that, oh, now there's a new thing for the new generation of kids. Whereas Monster High, I think since it appealed to an older demographic, people didn't age out of it quite as quickly. So this reboot was a lot more like yeah, there were people still cared about the old stuff when they did the reboot, and it all got messy, and then actually led to
Yeah.
the
Well,
go ahead.
it's also a matter of typically people are used to reboots for projects, except Monster High. This was brand new for them. Like
Yeah.
they were a really young brand. My Little Ponies have been around since the 80s. Transformers been around since the 80s, and so there have been many generations with them. But Monster High being brand new, it is going to be jarring to have a total reboot of this thing that you only knew one thing of.
Yeah. Yeah, especially since, back I guess there were animated stuff to go along with those brands, but you didn't have nearly the following that you would have when Monster High was getting big. Oh yeah, speaking of other characters, the other ghouls, I was surprised that everyone got good moments to stand out. Usually it's like we get to the other ghouls and it's like, yeah, they're there and they kind of just sit in the background and occasionally have a line. But here we actually have, Cleo. She isn't quite back to her old self. I still miss Gen 1 Cleo, but I really like this new sort of type A characterization of her where she's the planner. She's going to figure everything out. And we still
Yeah.
do have a little bit of that, like, she's still a bit of a diva.
Absolutely. No, yeah, I loved Cleo.
Yeah, I was missing that from Welcome to Monster High. So it's nice to see her kind of going back to that.
I love that like she's on the phone. She's like, I wasn't born yesterday, I was born 6,000 years ago. And I was like, whoa, hold on. That has implications. Incredible. But like,
Yeah.
no, I did really enjoy Cleo in this movie. It was like, she had like wine mom energy
Yeah.
towards her friends, which I love.
Yeah, she just, I mean, we just stand. That is my reaction to Cleo.
Correct. I do
And then
feel
yeah,
like Laguna didn't really get the chance to shine in this one.
Yeah.
If anyone had to suffer from background syndrome with this one of getting like maybe a few lines and then mostly does nothing, I think it's Laguna.
yeah, that's true. She has never been one of my favorites, so I don't pay a ton of attention to her, honestly. So I
That's
wasn't
fair.
even thinking of that. I was mainly thinking of Cleo and Draculaura, who her stuff with Twyla ends up being pretty interesting. They're contrasting, as you were saying, Samariel, and also just like I don't know, this version of the character is starting to grow on me a little more. I think in Welcome to Monster High, she was a little. I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that.
I like seeing Draculaura with a desire. Because
Yeah.
in Gen 1, it was often just like, I'm the cute, spooky princess, and I'm living my life, and this is my cute boyfriend, and sometimes I get sad because something happens, but it's fine. We'll be in with this sort of iteration of her being like, I am making this school. I am in charge of making this safe space for monsters. Like she is the class president who wants to really change the world. Like that is her goal. And I was like, okay, hell yeah, yes, look at you go. You have a goal and you have actions that you are doing to you are making to make that happen. Heck yeah, good for you. Like I really like seeing her be dynamic and not just a pretty little spooky princess.
Yeah, and we didn't get a ton of that in Gen 1. There were a couple of movies sprinkled in there, but yeah, it's nice to see her, as you said, have something to work towards. Now, what one thing that I realized after this movie was done, I think this is the first time in one of these that I haven't missed Abby or Gulia.
Okay.
Not that
Yeah.
I don't think they would have added something here, but in that, usually I'm watching these and I'm going, oh, I wish Abby or Gulia were here. Or even when they're in there, oh, I wish they had more to do. Here it never occurred to me they've balanced all of these characters so well that you don't feel the absence of your favorites.
Yeah,
You
that's
do,
fair.
but you don't.
Yeah. Like, yeah, I keep saying this, but I kind of wish we had gotten to see what the Gen 2 version of Abby and Gulia are.
Absolutely.
But
What's
still,
up with Rebecca in this one?
yeah. And that's where I do kind of feel the frustration with the reboots is like, oh, we had all of these characters who we could just pull off the bench and like, oh, you're in this one. And we all kind of know your deal. But yeah, I don't know. It would have been neat to see more of what they were building here.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of building.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. No, go ahead. Speaking of building, no, I need to know where
Sam,
that's
what were you going to
going.
say?
I mean, all I was going to say was, "Where's Abby and Gulia" is a very common sort of complaint / request about Gen 2 and even about Gen 3 for a very long time because they are such fan favorites, and having this like reboot where then they don't show up and we have characters that we can recognize very clearly but they're all sort of in the background, and then having new characters that we don't really know who have significantly more significantly more screen time and verbal lines, like, Ari is an interesting character, but like who where did why did we make a new one when we have all of these other characters that people have already established so much love for?
Yeah.
I think that was also sort of a nail in the coffin with fans of being like, oh, new characters that I have to figure out and the distinct absence of my favorite characters.
Yeah, yeah. And I don't know, because I definitely felt that with Welcome to Monster High. But here I was so invested in the story and the characters that I wasn't thinking of that.
Absolutely. I do think the story does a good enough job that you're not thinking about that.
Yeah.
I think if you are coming into this with a bit of a grudge, you can absolutely find something to sharpen your axe against.
Yeah, and that's a fair point, because after seeing Welcome to Monster High, my expectations were low going into this. So, but I was open to like, oh, if this ends up being good, I will be okay with that. And then I'm watching it and I'm like, oh, this is actually pretty good. Then I'm going, oh, this is actually really good. Wait a second, is this the best Monster High movie?
Heck
I wasn't
yeah.
expecting that. But yeah, speaking of, John, as you were saying, speaking of building things, we have the band, aka Howling Thunder and Frightening, featuring Wraith and Deuce and the Rolling Bones and Wooly.
With their very descript style of music.
Yes. I didn't write that down, but it's like
that's fine.
It's like every genre, because everyone wants a different genre.
Yeah, it was like metal, alternative, monster rock, goth, and I'm like
smooth jazz,
smooth jazz, and some polka. And I'm sitting there. Well, first they were like monster rock, alternative, and goth, and yes, those are all technically different genres. Kind of alternative doesn't really mean anything, frankly.
Yeah.
It's that is rock basically. But like they talk about these three distinct genres as if they are the most violently different things in the world, and I'm like, those are all siblings. Each of those genre Like, they are all very similar. This is not as much of an issue as you think it is, but it was a very fun, goofy bit of watching it get longer and longer and longer.
Yeah, I just love this sort of mini subplot. I had fun with it. Because you kind of know. Oh, go ahead, John.
No, I think the best part of just the entire band plot was just the reveal that they spent so much time arguing that they never actually practiced any songs.
Yes,
That was
so
a good
good.
one.
It's like, yeah, that is. It communicates this sort of message of the subplot that, like, hey, you need to kind of decide on things sometimes, and yeah, I had so much fun anytime they cut back to these goofy characters and their goofy antics.
It was great to see Venus say things.
Yeah, and Venus and Deuce had stuff to do. Wraith had stuff to do.
What is Wraith? What is he?
Is
he a vampire? Is he a ghost? Like, the wiki doesn't know what Wraith is.
He's a Wraith.
He's got fangs. So, but like a lot of things have fangs. Yeah. Zombies have fangs in this world. And so I'm just like, what are you?
He is Claudine's gay boyfriend. Like, correct. They are both going to realize after they have been together for a while, wait, neither of us are into the other. And it's not because we don't like the other, it's because we're both gay.
Oh yeah. That is WLW MLM solidarity. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, I just, and then the rolling bones.
Oh my god.
Their whole style.
Yes.
And then they're the ones doing the smooth jazz. It's just perfect. Yeah, so random and yet so fun.
Absolutely.
Speaking of fun.
Oh yeah. Monica is back.
The Monica, yeah.
As I have said before on the podcast, we support women's rights, but we also support women's wrongs.
Correct.
And Monica, just 10 out of 10 in that category.
She's great.
Yeah. Such a huge improvement over Toralei.
Yeah. She's so good. I don't know what to say. I love everything about her. She has this great evil plan, but it's nothing. Like, her plan is very good, but what the plan execution ends up being is like nothing.
Oh like, yeah. Well,
so she takes all this tie your shoelaces.
Yeah. Well, and also she's like under perpetual darkness, and I'm like, kid, the sun's gonna rise. You took all the electricity. You didn't stop the sun.
Uh-huh.
But I love Monica. Her and the whole dynamic between her and the zomboys is delightful.
Yeah, she is the pop star, and they are her gay fans.
Correct.
And just like, yeah, everything about her, like, she's just so good. She's the best part of Welcome to Monster High, and she's the best part here. And this is a better movie than Welcome to Monster High, but she's still the best part.
It's delightful.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I do kind of wish she was more monstrous. Just in that, like, all the zomboys are very clearly zombies, and they have very monstrous features. And she like occasionally, like, she'll like hold herself in sort of a zombie pose, but she still looks like a pop star. And I'm like, we could have done something.
Her eyes, though.
Oh, her eyes are amazing. Yeah. I love the visuals in this movie are great, which we'll get to. But yeah, no, Monica is delightful, and her name, Monica Decay. Monster High has some bangers when it comes to names, and this is absolutely one of them.
Yeah, she is just so good. I need to buy the DVD of this one, because this is one I would actually rewatch, and oddly enough, this is like the one that is impossible to get online. Like, the last few haven't been available to rent or buy, but have been available on not on Paramount Plus, on Paramount Plus through YouTube.
Weird.
This one just nowhere. You can't get it anywhere online. And it's disappointing because this is like the best one. So I'm like, oh, I think I need to get the Blu-ray or something.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, other characters we have Dracula. He doesn't have that big of a role in this one as compared to the last one.
He doesn't need to. He's perfect.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for the classic monsters, and Dracula is one of them. And I also love dorky dads. And so a classic monster dorky dad, ooh, baby, you got me. You got me right between the eyes. I loved him. I love his look. I love the bat wings on his shirt. I love his ruby coffin cravat pin. I love him. He's beautiful. He's great. He's perfect.
He's wonderful. Just such a great addition to this series.
Mm-hmm.
And not who you expect Dracula to be based on, Dracula, the Bram Stoker.
Which is kind of the direction I think they took him with in Gen 3 of trying to make him a little more classic Dracula.
Okay. Yeah.
But I love this goofy little goober.
Yeah. I just bumped up my score for the characters after talking about the characters. I'm giving the characters a 5 out of 5 here. I just had so much fun. And they're so well balanced.
Fair enough. I gave it a 4.5. The characters are freaking great. I kind of wish some of them have gotten more chances to do stuff, and I still don't totally understand Ari's situation here, but overall, it's delightful and phenomenal.
And I gave the characters a 3.
So yeah, onto the visuals. Sam, I'm curious to hear what your opinion is on sort of the aesthetic of Gen 2.
Well, I don't know a lot about the dolls. The designs, the overall vibe of Gen 2. Listening to that podcast episode with the director where they talk about how the sort of goal with the reboot here was to kind of make them more younger, make them a little softer. That absolutely carries through here. These are much like softer, younger. They have very much the vibe of very young teens.
Yeah.
And so that is definitely coming through very strong. And I don't hate it. Like I do like it. It is one of those things where when you go from Gen 1 to Gen 2, you kind of go, wait, what? Hold on. And you kind of have a moment where you go, these are children. And then you kind of remember, oh yeah, that's right. High schoolers are children.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that is something that gets lost in the sauce of high school media. Thanks, Riverdale. But like I do like the overall feel of Gen 2. Like I like it's interesting because it is both campy and realistic in a way that feels very true to the monsterness of it all, of setting up this sort of magical otherworld, but also we are friends who wear silly outfits and have fun together. And the visuals in this movie are really, really quite stunning. The only thing I knew about this movie for a very long time was the sequence where Frankie gets struck by lightning, because I saw GIFs of it in the Monster High tag. Not all the time, but enough of the time that I went, holy crow, that looks amazing. Like Frankie with the blank white glowing eyes.
Yeah.
And just like, and the like the darkness of the sky. Like they genuinely put some weight on that scene that made it feel powerful, and I loved it. It was great. The overall, like, the Electrified line, as in their sort of like end of movie outfits.
Right.
I can see what you're going for, and you really committed to it, and I respect that. However, ooh, those looks are a series of choices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we talk about Frankie's hair?
Listen.
Which one?
I respect the crimp. The ponytail crimp was a capital C choice. And then, like, with the different, like, color streaks through it, it was like a weird sort of like neon salmon highlighter yellow, and I'm just like, what? What'd
This
you
is
do
what
to
they
my
think
girl?
the normies will be attracted to.
I guess.
They like bright lights, I guess.
Listen, I love a black light bowling alley carpet. I'm a big fan. However, ooh, yikes.
Yeah, the designs for the Electrified looks were just because I'm finally getting used to the rest of the style for Gen 2, and of course now it's over. But I thought the cutesy designs were kind of contrasting well with the horror elements, and like the weather just looked really good.
Mwah.
Yeah, but then then we got these Electrified looks, and I'm like, oh, it's just too much. No.
Yeah.
I think I was so distracted by Frankie's hair that I didn't pay much attention to anyone else's look.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Just so odd.
Yeah.
So, does Claudine expect Frankie to electrocute all of her clothing designs besides just the 6? Because like she runs a business now. Does she expect that of Frankie now? Because what's she gonna do?
Yeah. Frankie, can you get struck by lightning again? Just like hang out outside.
I mean, they work at a
some
power
orders to
station. I
fill.
guess she can just.
Yeah, the abandoned power station on the side of town. What a find.
Yeah.
But other than that, other than those looks,
I did notice some weirdness with the mouth movements. I don't know exactly what it was, but again, Frankie's hair was just like that. That was no.
like when it was Frankie and sort of her base look and the hair was crimping, I was like, okay, that's cool. I can handle that. I could understand that being Electrified. But then it was the neon streaks and the big ponytail that I went, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
And for me, there were moments where it was like Toralei is sitting in the background, and I can tell that it's Toralei because she looks like Toralei, but she doesn't do anything that Toralei would do. Like there's no even just like body language. Like I couldn't see that. And so for me, that was sort of one of the moments where I was like, oh, really? We're not gonna do anything with this? Okay. I don't need her front and center. I don't need that. I just want her to look like Toralei.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was that? What's the name of that puppet character?
Hoodoo?
Oh, are we talking about Voodoo?
Yeah, because like every time there's an establishing shot and Voodoo is walking around, he always has a pip to his step that's very distinct to his character.
Yes.
Whereas everyone in the background is just there doing the same thing.
Yeah. Toralei tends to have a very smug look to her, and here she was just sort of vibing, and I'm like, good. Did she go to therapy or something? Or like, hopefully, one would hope, right? But yeah, it was just like, oh, okay, so that's just that's just a figure in the background. That's not Toralei. That's someone wearing her skin.
Yeah, and I think that's been an issue with these, specifically these Gen 2, because Gen 1, Monster High felt full.
Yes.
Like the hallways felt full, the classrooms felt full. Whereas here it's like it feels a little empty.
They don't have the
you'd expect.
shadow figures to fill in the
Yeah.
space.
But even the, because Monster High, the Gen 1 still had a lot of shadows, but they also had a lot of models that they would put in. Whereas here it's more just kind of very sparse.
Which on the one hand you could kind of sort of in the Watsonian sense be like, well, they're still, going out and looking for students. But it's also like, yeah, but like we could have a few more people in this room.
Too much to render.
Yeah,
well,
right.
Yeah, because it impressed me about the Gen 1 movies that they had. Because usually, like the Barbie movies, they never had crowds that big. Or I mean, maybe sometimes they did, but not that consistently. So I was impressed with that with Gen 1. So to see it here, we're back to it's just kind of very sparsely populated. Was a little disappointing.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, I still, the style was growing on me. The locations and the weather especially just looks phenomenal. So I gave it a 4 out of 5 overall. Oh, and I forgot to mention the horror imagery. When we have like the zombie hands shooting out of the floor, I'm like, yes. And flipping the switches and electric going everywhere, and felt like we needed a Rocky Horror Picture Show reference in there though.
Little bit. I could easily see slipping one in there with all the science and absolutely.
Throw open the sonic whatever. I
the sonic oscillator.
Oh, I knew you would know that.
Of course.
I've only seen it, 7 or 8 times, so.
The transducer will seduce you. I also gave the visuals for beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I loved it. They were stunning. The sequence, like, I got sold on this movie purely from the sequence of Frankie getting electrocuted, and I regret nothing. I do wish there was like a little bit more done with the folks in the background, but still had a blast. It was gorgeous.
Yeah. And I gave it a 3.9. It's the best looking of the entire franchise so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, next up we have the performances. I did want to briefly mention, because John, you brought up before that Laguna is now being played by a different actor. This was mentioned in the podcast episode that the directors did. That apparently their actor who used to be playing her was discovered by someone in the corporate overlords, discovered that she was not Australian, and that became an issue. So they recast her.
And yet Cleo was still voiced by a white woman until Gen 3. That one's fine, but we can't offend the Australians.
Yeah.
That precious demographic.
Yeah, I just thought it was interesting to get that kind of behind the scenes information about it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, performances were all pretty good, I would say. I do want to shout out Christina Militia, who plays Monica. Just phenomenal.
Yeah, Monica's great. There's so much personality in just the way she talks, and it's delightful.
Yeah. Oh, and looks like she also plays Wooly.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's an odd double role there.
I guess. It seemed like Cassandra Moore struggled with Frankie this time around, but
okay.
She did fine overall.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got nothing to really complain about. The performances were all pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, I gave the performances a 4 out of 5.
Yeah, I also gave a 4.
And I gave it a 3.5.
So last up we have the sound, and the moment that sold me on this maybe being the best Monster High movie was when a song started and I realized it was going to be a villain song for Monica, and it's great.
Well,
Kind of.
villain song, kind of villain soundtrack.
Yeah. She is not singing it, but it serves the function of the villain song.
Yeah, I thought it went on for too long, and it was just there. There was just a lot of the same, with Monica strutting to the camera, zomboys pushing people, grabbing books for like 2 minutes.
Well, in I don't know if it was just the version that I had, but in that particular sequence, the sound mixing is really weird.
Oh.
Because the song is really kind of quiet and the sound effects are very loud. And so it made this like really weird dichotomy in my brain. Like it's not like massive. It's not anything I would be like, how dare you, finger wag.
It was a similar
just
issue
odd.
with the last film as well.
Yeah.
Where the mixing was way off. But it's much better in this one, I'd say.
Yeah, I didn't notice that, but I was so into the song, and I've been listening to the
fair.
song since seeing the movie, and the more you listen to it, the more you realize the lyrics don't make any sense.
Oh,
like,
the lyrics are nonsense.
Like, they're calling her a mentor. Like, no. She's not even trying to be. And then my favorite is the Spanish parts where she's like, oh, the big, oh yeah, the one line that always gets me is "Hola, te amo," which translates to "Hello, I love you."
Yeah.
That's
so goofy.
No one would say that. A, B. No, that is not Monica's character.
Maybe that's just the audience idea of Monica.
It's like
I
think it's just they're throwing in Spanish phrases because they follow it up with it's "Hola, te amo, mucho gusto." Hello, I love you, happy to meet you. Like, if that was Draculaura, sure, I would understand if she said hello, I love you, nice to meet you, but not Monica.
Monica was very Spanish in this one.
Yes.
As compared to the last one. Because she never really spoke any Spanish in the last film. Here, she was, cussing up a storm under her breath.
Yeah. I love the song, even though it is a very silly song. And I was so happy when it started. The rest of the soundtrack was fun. I also like the Electrified song at the end where it's the band playing.
Yes.
And they do work in a bunch of the different genres mentioned, and it's a little incongruous. The smooth jazz and polka sections stand out intentionally, but I think it's a fun song.
I don't quite feel it's the people singing, but yes.
Yeah, that's fair. I think there's a reason they put it over the end credits.
Uh-huh.
But I enjoyed it.
I thought it was good.
Yeah, I gave the sound a 4 out of 5.
I gave it a 3.75.
And I gave it a 3, which leaves me with a 16.7, which is 66.8%, or a 3.34 5-star rating.
Yep, and I have a 21.5, which is an 86%, or a 4.3 5-star rating.
And I've got a 20.75, which is a 83%, or a 4.15 star rating.
Nice.
Yeah. I would say, yeah. Again, I think this is my favorite of the Monster Highs.
It's definitely the most coherent and best looking.
Mm-hmm. I think I still prefer Scaris, but
okay,
fair enough.
It's still solidly made.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, that was a fun way to say goodbye to Monster High. Animated Monster High.
Yeah, we're just gonna pretend the live action movies don't exist.
I am
That should be
curious to
very
see that.
interesting next time when we have to discuss a thing that doesn't exist. So,
yeah. Get ready.
yeah. Anyway, thank you everyone for listening, and make sure to follow us on social media. We're Binging Barbie Podcast on Instagram and Tumblr, Binging Barbie on Twitter and Serialized, and Binging Barbie, a Barbie movie podcast on Letterboxd. And if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to leave a 5-star review and check out our Patreon. And we will be back next week to talk about our first live-action Monster High movie, Monster High.
Yeah.
Here we
And
go.
Bye, Barbie.
Bye, Barbie.
Bye, Barbie.